Okay, welcome to today's video. We're going to be looking at doing two food options today over the fire. As you can see, the flames are quite high at the moment, so let those die down before we get going. Keep that nice heat in there. We're going to be doing pasta, so boiling up some water and using quick cook pasta because that's a lot easier to manage, and then we're going to be doing some vegetable skewers as well. So you can see also we've got quite a bit of wind today, or a little bit of wind rather, so I want to make sure that the flames are not too high, it's not impacting too much on the surrounding area, or indeed blowing the embers out into the environment. Right, so we'll pop the pan on there now and we'll let that get warm over time. And then, like I said, I like to take that nice and prepared. So we have got here just Tupperware pot of the quick cook pasta. Generally speaking, once the water's boiled, the quick cook pasta takes 6 to 10 minutes probably, which is exactly what you want. And then the vegetable skewer will be something I need to be handling more so with the fire glove, because I'm going to be a little bit closer to the action. Again, I want to make sure I'm managing the space around me safely. If this was in front of some learners as well, I'll be making sure they're keeping a distance, because as much as they want to observe and enjoy the experience, unless of course you are the forest school leader, you should really be at a safe distance back, watching what's happening, talking, taking part verbally, but not taking part physically in this experience until the end when it comes to eating, of course. So with that said and done, I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes time when the water is ready to put the pasta into. Okay, so we've reached a good boiling temperature. You can see the steam starting to come off of that. So we're going to put in the pasta. I've got my sieve here and I've got my wooden spoon here for stirring. But of course you want to make sure these are to hand before you start this. You don't want to be scrabbling around looking for the things that you need. So I'll put these to one side for a moment because I don't need them right now. Just carefully put the pasta in. That's doing that, we'll have a look at doing the vegetable skewer, which for now I've just got peppers and mushrooms here. I'm going to lay that gently across the grate just in front of me here. I will be using two fire gloves just because I want to make sure I place it properly, and I don't want to accidentally use a hand without a fire glove, which you can do as just part of a reaction. Just lay that on there and let that just gently heat, and we'll just keep an eye on this now for the next probably 5 to 10 minutes. See how things are starting to progress. Starting to stir again, making sure the fire is maintaining a good level of temperature. We don't want the flames to be too wild and out of control. You can see they've started to simmer down now, which is good. A little bit of wind as I mentioned earlier, so I want to make sure I'm keeping a safe distance. I'm observing that the wind is going in that direction there, so I'm just staying over this side, and if there's any change in wind direction I'll move myself accordingly. So we'll catch up in a few minutes time and see what's going on. Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes now. I'm just starting to stir this pasta. I can feel underneath the spoon it's starting to soften up. You can see there, look, that's boiling up lovely. Really, really good indeed. And this I'm going to gently now, just gently turn that over. Again, if I need to use two, I will. If I need to move the pan as well, making sure I'm doing that safely. But what I want to do at all times is just making sure I'm keeping a safe distance, managing the food in a sensible way. You can see this is starting to just char up nicely on one side there. Doesn't mean that that's obviously cooked. Things like peppers, of course, you can eat raw, so that doesn't put you in any danger at all of any issues regarding food poisoning. You want to really think carefully about the sort of vegetables you put on there. Mushrooms, of course, want to make sure they're cooked through, but that just is also quite a good indication of when the cooking is done. When those mushrooms are nice and ready to eat, you know that you've done a cook all the way through. It's done a great job. And again, with the pasta, I'm just checking in, stirring regularly, and today I'm just keeping it quite a kind of a simple plain pasta, but of course you could do any sort of condiments you want afterwards, any sort of sauces. You could also roast up some vegetables on here. I could put these in with the pasta as well. There's loads of different options available to me, but we'll check back in a few more minutes time and see what the kind of progress is like. Okay, I'm not too far away from being done now. I can feel through the glove the kind of heat that's coming out of the fire here. Don't be fooled by the flames necessarily. Underneath the flames, I'll show you in a moment, you've got some really, really lovely white embers. That heat is absolutely fantastic coming up through here. So we want to try and actually avoid putting this food directly on top of the flames, because that's not the way to be cooking it. but we'll make sure we're using the heat, finding where the best heat source is, and putting our food directly above that, pulling it through. So actually sitting just behind the flames you see there is a good half to 2/3 of cooking space here. It's a lovely white ember and that heat's coming through perfectly. So to keep stirring this, do one more turn of this here. Move that back over to where the embers are. I wish you could smell this right now. The mushrooms are absolutely beautiful. The smell coming through perfectly. Wow, they look really good, really good. So I reckon another 2 more minutes. Now what I'm also going to be doing as well is obviously this boiling water here. I need to think about where that's going to go, where it's going to be disposed of. Now normally on the school side, have another container to pour it into, another container, even like another saucepan, allow it to cool down, and basically at the end of the day what you're going to be doing is getting rid of that cold water. However, we have got some space here on site where that warm water can go onto, and that can be sort of a bit of a dead area over here. We've got some tiled areas over here, and we've got some dead soil areas over here, and which are not going to be impacted negatively if I use the boiling water on them. Obviously I would not choose an area that is flourishing, so you look for the most appropriate space to do that, and like I said, otherwise it's pouring that over top of the container, waiting till it cools down away from learners, and then you've got the opportunity to pour away cold water. But obviously in this environment things are slightly different. So another minute or two and this is going to be finishing off. Okay, so we're now going to be taking this off the fire here. That looks absolutely wonderful, ready to eat there. Put this just over the side. I think it's just out of shot actually. Just onto, got a little stump here with a cutting board. That could just wait there. And the pasta again, the same sort of thing. I'm going to get myself the sieve, just a moment, dispose of that just off camera now into our dead space, and then we've got the fire to extinguish in a safe and sensible way. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link above of how I extinguish the fires, and then like I said, we're ready to enjoy the food for today. So thanks for tuning into that. That again was vegetable kebabs, which smell wonderful, and we've got our pasta as well, boiling and a little bit of roasting and grilling on the campfire.